So, ladies and gentlemen, in my previous podcast, I've covered a lot of the legends of Atlantic Grand Prix wrestling. My good friend Killer Carl Krupp, Leo Burke, the Cuban Assassin. But today we're going to look at somebody who I consider probably one of the most talented wrestlers, natural wrestlers that the Atlantic region had ever seen. Now, he was trained by the owner of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, Mel Dupre, who once said he is a legendary figure within the association because when you said his name, everybody knew who you were talking about. Of course, we're going to be speaking today on the gentle giant, as I call him, Big Stephen Petitpas. Now, Stephen Petitpas had many names, including the Canadian Lumberjack. He was Sheik Ali in the Montreal territory, Stephen Percy, but a very naturally gifted athlete. At 6'3", maybe 6'4", 275 pounds, he was kind of in the mold of the Acadian giant style, which is not a big, well-known factor, but the Acadian region had big, thick wrestlers, but not other than Kurgan, not that big. And Petitpas, he's 6'3", but he moved every inch in the ring, and the fans just loved him. Now, because his father was in the Canadian military, Stephen was born in Soest, Germany. He grew up in an Acadian household in Shediac, and for a coincidence reason, the guy living across the street was Emile Dupre. Now, Petitpas would see Dupre train in his backyard, and by the time he was 13 and 14, Petitpas was putting up the ring for Dupre for, the territory. By the age of 15, he was a naturally gifted 6'3" and weighed 220 pounds. Now, he started as a referee in the Atlantic Grand Prix, um, but after some wrestlers had quit the federation, he became involved as a wrestler. At no time, by the way, in my memory, that when he was wrestling in the Maritimes was he not a face, because he was so good with the kids, he was so good with the adults, the women loved him, and he would go into a rink, and he would have the rolling pot was Leo would have somebody having his back. It was Big Stephen Petitpas. Now, very very popular in the Maritimes, but he competed across the world, including tours of Germany, Japan, and India. Now, he officially started in 1974, but he kept on into the mid 1990s. His biggest claim to fame, of course, he had 5 matches against Ric Flair for the NWA World Championship, but of course, Ric won one of those matches. Now, in Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, Petitpas had held several titles, including the International Heavyweight Championship, which he won in '85 by defeating Super Destroyer. He won the Maritimes Heavyweight Championship on 2 occasions, winning the inaugural title and defeating his nemesis Super Destroyer to regain the belt. Now, in Lutte Internationale in Montreal, which is kind of detailed in some pro wrestling books out of Quebec, including Midgets, Mad Dogs, and Screwjobs, he competed under the name Sheik Ali. Now, he played a heel who had a mask on. He was managed by the incomparable Eddie DeGrain Creechman and Pretty Boy Floyd Creechman. Now, his big nemesis there was Ricky Martel, Dino Brava, and the infamous Abdullah the Butcher. Now, he was given an opportunity to compete for the WWF, but did not get to wrestle in the matches because Martel, who ran Lucha International, became concerned about how to impact Petitpas' schedule and status in the federation. Now, while competing for the company, Petitpas teamed with Quebec wrestling legend Richard Chalat in '86 to win the Canadian International Tag Team Championship by beating Dan Crawford and Tom Zink, who later went on with a tag team with Ricky Martel. Now, when Dupre started to stop promoting shows, he sold Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling to Petitpas and Leo Burke. Now, in '88-'89, he ran shows in addition to operating the Atlantic Wrestling School. And of course, his most famous trainee at the school was his successor to the Acadian giant legacy, Robert Maillet, who went on to wrestle in the WWF as Kurgan with a great movie career through the years and a very well respected wrestler in the same part. Now, Petitpas, for obvious reasons, found it difficult to compete with the WWF, who was eating territories back in the day, and ultimately closed the promotion. Now, a very interesting line actually by Canadian wrestler Buddy Lane has called Petitpas' career the biggest waste of talent ever in wrestling, as Petitpas was given opportunities to wrestle for larger companies but chose to remain in the Maritimes. I really don't agree with that. Stephen Petitpas, for all the dealings he had with the media, with members of my family, with the fans, Petitpas is a stand-up guy. He's done actually recently documentaries for the Fight Word Network on the history of Atlantic Grand Prix, and you can tell he's love for his family. He has three children, a daughter, and two sons, and the Maritimes. Stephen Petitpas is a hometown guy. He would sign autographs like crazy, and everybody loved him. Like I said, it was pretty hard to make him a heel in Quebec, but with the what do you call the multifaceted aspects of Lucha International, Bravo was a hero there. He was a heel in WWF and vice versa. Now, I would figure if you're doing a top five on Atlantic Grand Prix wrestling wrestlers, he is in the top five. Him taking on Ric Flair, him doing so well to keep the promotion together as long as it did. He gets all the credit in the world. But you got to understand, if the people were going to go to a match, you wanted to see Petitpas because he was a huge mobile wrestler that even the WWE, WF, and NWA didn't really have. Barry Windham a little bit, but a tall guy and like handsome, good ring skills, good with the public. He was a promoter's dream, and he became a promoter or a booker later on. But you understand to have a federation like Atlantic Grand Prix again, to have the Cuban, KKK, Leo Burke, and Petitpas, that ranks as high up in a top four in any federation that was in the 70s or 80s. I don't care about the Von Erichs, it's all one family. But you look at Burke and his extended family, Emil, Emil's motivation. When the Atlantic Grand Prix came into a hockey rink or a ball field or a track and field, because used to do outdoor stuff, people said, "Oh, it's Petitpas wrestling. Is Petitpas going to be here?" Every poster got to have Leo Burke, Petitpas, and the Cuban. And he tried to make Cuban, a non-heel later on, probably because they were trying to mix it up. Because you knew what you're getting in Atlantic Grand Prix wrestling. You knew what you're getting with Stephen Petitpas, nice-looking guy, a big guy, charismatic with the people, and he was a legend, man. He was a legend. But if you have a chance, like I said, the book I had mentioned, Bad Dogs, Midgets, and Screwjobs, which I had a great opportunity for Bret Hart to sign that when I was at the Rhode Island Comic Convention a few years ago. And it talks about how the subtitle is The Untold Story of how Montreal shaped the world of wrestling. Now, that's available at ECW Press. I think there's still copies out there. But part of that book has tributes to the Atlantic Grand Prix participants. And Rene Dupree, who's a member of my New Brunswick Independent Officers Association, can tell you Emil was very proud of all these wrestlers. But the pride that the fans had in Stephen Petitpas knows no bounds. You say the word Stephen Petitpas to someone of my age group that was a fan of Atlantic Grand Prix, makes a smile on their face because he represented the height of the popularity and success of Atlantic Grand Prix. Like superheroes, Spider-Man had his villains. Well, as bad as Killer Carl Group was, Stephen Petitpas was there to watch over Leo Burke or watch over, even going back to Randy Macho Man and Leaping Lanny. It's a lot of history. And I don't think his career was a waste, ladies and gentlemen, because how can you say it's a waste? We're still talking about him. He hasn't wrestled in geez, quarter century or like officially. Anyway, on this COVID Saturday, we wish you a great evening. And if you have a chance, try to convince someone out there to see if any of those old VHS tapes throughout the Maritime can be transferred to people that work at the Fight Network. I'd love to see some of the new episodes, the old episodes, redigitized for Fight Network. And we really need to find a way to recover those tapes because, as we all know, a lot of those tapes were wiped by ATV, which is, Baton Broadcasting was totally moronic back in the day. Anyway, have a good evening. Bye.